All right, welcome to another episode of the After Hours NFL special, whatever the hell you want to call this damn thing. Week 4 episode. We didn't do it last week. Brian passed out at 8:55. I had a sneezing attack. I swear. I started recording with Casey. I started sneezing. Tyler, to your liking, it is on recording. So
I'd love to see it.
there. There is actual video evidence of it happening. So
How
could you not stay up for this game? This game had it all.
Right? We're talking about last week when you fell asleep. You fell asleep at 8:55. You texted me and said, "I'm ready to go," and then at 9:00, nothing.
Like the oldest man here.
Explain yourself real quick. Explain yourself.
You ripped on Jimmy Garoppolo for quitting.
I'm gonna be honest. I had too many vodka drinks the Sunday before, and me and Tyler were getting into it about Cutler a little bit on text messages, but other than that.
And that fatigued you out. I understand that.
And then you quit on the team like Cutler did.
All right. I love it. All right, let's get into that here a little bit later. All right, week 4. The reason we do this is because we get a chance to kind of analyze the whole week that happened, week 5 here. Monday night game, good Monday night game to end it on. Disappointing for me who bet on the Colts and the Giants at a parlay, a good parlay, I thought. The Colts blew it, Brian. They blew it. What happened? We both like the Colts. What did they do?
I don't like the Colts. I like the Colts because they had Peyton Manning. I like the Colts now. I don't like Carson Wentz. And I was more happy that Lamar Jackson, 41 fantasy points. After this week, I'm going to be in first place in my fantasy league, and I'm in it for that money, man. I want that first place money.
Brian, save your fantasies for Pornhub.
Tyler, can I say something real quick? Nobody cares about your fantasies, right? Nobody.
No, not one person.
Not one singular person cares about it. No, but I thought you liked the Colts because, like I did. I was bullied because I was wearing a Colts hat on the playground. The guy said, "Who likes the Colts?" I said, "Well, F you, buddy. I like the Colts." I like the Colts. When Jim Harbaugh was the quarterback, so I always like the Colts just a little bit. And then Wentz gets traded to the Colts. They play well tonight. They're up by 25-9 at some point there during the game. Their kicker has some sort of hip injury, which is obviously probably pretty critical if you're a kicker. I would think your hip is important there. So, I mean, they ended up blowing the game there. But the thing that I found funny at the game, and I wrote this note, it was Wentz, Jackson, MVP. Jackson was the MVP. Wentz was the MVP conversations. What did you guys think of the matchup tonight?
Jackson played the best football I've ever seen him play. The best, I was very impressed.
Not tonight.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean,
that second half,
I'm just telling you.
Go ahead, Tyler. Why?
That second half, he was spectacular. He went like 33 for 39 on the day with almost 400 yards and I don't know how many touchdowns. He just, every pass he threw, other than that first pass on the drive at the end to score, where he said he got picked, he threw some flutter ball that somehow landed. He was on the money.
It was 37 for 43 overall for 442 yards and 4 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Wow.
Have you ever seen a number line like that for Jackson?
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
He was absolutely spectacular. I've slandered Jackson his whole career. I've always been like anti-Jackson. Thought you couldn't win really a big game against a good team with Jackson coming from behind like that, and he proved me wrong. I was very impressed with Jackson played.
It's hard to blame Wentz too, though. He went 25 of 35 with 402 and 2 touchdowns, Brian.
Yeah, I mean, Wentz played a very good game. I mean, and I thought when that defensive player on the Ravens pushed down the tight end, I thought that's when it was over, and Blankenship just shanked the field goal, and I couldn't believe that, man.
So that gets into my next point. The kickers this weekend in week 5 were the storyline. The Packers guy, I happen to have the game on locally here in Sonoma County beautifully. And you know what? I only have one channel. So that's the game I was stuck with. And so no wonder Casey picked that as the game of the day on Sunday morning's podcast. That was the game that we had out locally here. And I mean, Crosby misses 3. The kickers on the Bengals missed 3. There was missed extra points a lot yesterday. The Raiders had 1 in there. And then tonight, the kicker, I mean, you literally cannot trust him on the Colts. I mean, I don't get it. Like, should people say this? I've never really thought about it. Tyler, I've never really asked you this, I guess. I was thinking about it.
Yeah, I don't think we've even had a personal conversation about what you're about to ask me.
Should we not play with kickers?
That's stupid.
Why is it stupid?
Because it's an integral part of Brian, he didn't ask you. Relax. I'm just kidding. But why it's been played with kickers since the beginning of time. Why we change it now? Like I understand they're not like real football players, and they're not.
They blow the game.
It's always been a part of the game.
Is that why Shanahan went for so many 4th downs? Because he's like, I didn't trust my kicker, was what he said. But I think it was bullshit. But yeah.
Brian and his Niners. He just can't help himself. He always has to bring it back to the Niners, and you're paying them. We'll get into it, big guy. We'll get into your Niners here in a minute. But the kicker, like tonight's game, they literally, did you trust that Colts kicker after they said he had a hip injury? They brought in the putter at the end of the first half.
The weird thing was he made 2 kicks earlier, and then he was back out there. They brought up the hip injury, and then he gets one blocked, and like they do it with Eddie Saints when it was like they knew it was coming. It's really like crazy how that hip injury came up late in the game. And
I have to ask you guys a question. Is he the nerdiest looking kicker of all time?
Well, I always feel like the guys with the one little thing always kind of have to be in them.
Him and Gary Anderson.
Gary's always in the conversation. I'm a Morton. Morton's always there too.
Chris Sabo in baseball rivals all of them.
But you're right there, Tyler, or right there, Brian. He's right there with the goggles there a little bit. Anyways, I thought the kickers were a big storyline. And Skip Bayless, who I don't like anymore at all. He was the guy that always used to bring that up for years, like get rid of the kickers. And sometimes I'm like, it would be an interesting game if you literally had no field goals involved. Like, how much would that change your offense? You'd have to go deeper a lot more, right?
I don't think you'd have to go deeper. You just would have to go for it more. I just think you should be able to find an athlete like Chad Johnson who can kick field goals. Like if you need like a 25-yard field goal, who can actually do it. I'm sure these guys are pretty good athletes. Or you can find one guy, and then you can go for it.
Tyler,
one punter.
I found this YouTube. I found this 10-minute YouTube clip of Bill Belichick talking about long snappers for 10 minutes, and like somebody asked the question, kind of like that you did. It's like, can't you find somebody on the roster that could just snap a ball 20 yards? And he goes into this like 10-minute, like literally dialogue of 1950. It's like the weirdest video. It's typical Bill Belichick from like 6 months ago. You got to check it out if you haven't seen it. Adam, if you haven't seen it.
I've seen headlines, but I never clicked on it because it was about long snapping. I was like, I'm not watching this shit.
All right, so that was a good game tonight. I always like doing these little podcasts with you guys, especially after a good game. And tonight was a good game. It was actually kind of fun. I was telling Hannah, I was like, did you actually know that the Indianapolis Colts were from Baltimore? She's like, really? I was like, no. So I always like my nerdy knowledge to surprise people with that stuff. Yeah.
There's been surprisingly a lot of good games on Monday night lately. And next week seems to be another good one.
Yeah, Titans Bills. That should be really good, and especially since we know we got a lot of Titans Twitter feed. We should be on top of our game next Monday night in terms of that. We should try to see if we should have P Shark on next week. We should ask him.
Yeah.
We should ask him.
I mean, how bad is that? How bad is the AFC South? I mean, the Titans should win that easily.
I feel like we've been saying that our whole childhood. Other than is that true or no?
No, the Colts and the Titans were good for a while.
At the
with
same
Peyton
time,
Manning and Peyton Manning and Steve McNair.
You're right. They were good at the same time. That's BS on my part. I'm sorry.
And then the Jaguars almost beat the Patriots in the.
Is it when the Chris Johnson era started, basically, like the Vince Young era? Is that when the AFC South started to kind of go downhill a little bit? Then you started to get like the Vince Youngs, the Garards,
Andrew Luck.
Yeah, Luck was good, but they weren't great teams, like multiple teams. The Jaguars have just been bottom feeders. They've been so bad.
I mean, is that the reason that Mark Brunell made the playoffs every year? Because their division was just really bad.
I love Brunell that way.
Those teams were loaded.
Jimmy Smith,
Fred Taylor, Jimmy Smith, Keenan Markell, Tony Baselli, like those were pretty loaded offenses.
Jimmy Smith helped me win a fantasy football league. I'll always be in bed with that man.
Well, that's a little much. We don't want to know that much. Brian, you were here on Sunday. We were talking about the AFC South. What do you think of Urban Meyer's little antics? Did you think it was a big deal, little deal, or no deal? Or huge deal?
I've never encountered a situation where the whole team flies back and the coach stays back. I don't know. That was so weird to me.
But do you think the players were like, "You go, coach"? Like these are 23-year-old men who I like to have fun with women as well. I assume most of them.
Yeah,
or do you think they were like, "Oh, this he's not. I can't trust this coach." I don't think they were, in my opinion, on the whole matter.
No, I think they.
I don't know. It seems like he's very uncomfortable, like coaching this team, and he's looking for a way out or something.
He does.
That's what it seems like.
It does. It does feel that way. And speaking of way out, can we talk about my team for a second?
Do you want to take a quick break, or do you want to get into it right now?
No, let's get into it right now.
All right.
Let's get it right down. Like Gruden, let's get into it. We'll get back into the games here in a minute. This came up during the game, about a little bit before halftime. Gruden he resigns.
He resigns.
You
even said it like Gruden a little bit.
It
felt like he was let go to me.
I watched the NBC thing last night during halftime because I was, just trying to watch something else. I was late. It was like 9 o'clock here at night. I was laying down. Family was asleep. I was falling asleep. But I heard them talk about the Gruden thing. And to be fair to Dungy and Breeze, I feel like, not all the facts had come out at that point either. Like they were kind of taking some heat today, Tirico and them. And, and then today all the facts come out about Gruden, like a lot of slurs there, calling Godell a queer basically, he
used the harsher word.
Yeah, what did he say? You can say it. Yeah,
he said he called him a forgot.
Yeah, I know. I forgot. Well done.
Wow.
Well done. And then he used some other language that, as much as I kind of like Gruden from like the outside, you can't really know somebody.
Hold on. I can't let you get away with saying you like.
Can you imagine?
2 years. Hold on, Brian. You've ripped on Gruden for 2 years on this podcast.
What I mean is I like Gruden from the sense of like what he did for us in the early days, like when my dad got season tickets. I was at a lot of those games. I appreciated those games. I appreciated those teams that were good for 3 or 4 years. But in the midst of that, like with a lot of movies that you see are made, you get lost in that kind of idea of like what this person is behind the scenes. And those emails and those words are, at the end of the day, like you can explain them away with like, they weren't, I'm not this, I'm not that. But at the end of the day, it's like they were something. The idea of you being able to look at somebody's emails is a different story to me, but
it all adds up at some point where it's a little bit much.
Exactly. And we're like, it's like you got to chill out at this point. That stuff's unnecessary. It's not appropriate. Even if it's 10 years ago, it's like, it doesn't matter. It's not appropriate. So I think the Raiders had to move on.
Brian, you're making faces down there.
Well, the Raiders had to move on at some point. Like Gruden wasn't the answer. They're not winning. I think I said that. Like they're not winning games. Carr sucks. They need to get a different quarterback.
Where's Casey when we need him?
No, he does. Right, Brian? He sucks.
Yeah, they need to move on from Carr and get somebody else, man. It's time.
But what do you think of the Gruden situation?
I don't know. I've always been a Gruden guy, and I thought he did go over the line in the comments he made, but I thought I don't know. I just thought it was a little like you're gonna bring this up now, and I don't know. I just thought it was kind of. I thought it was kind of dumb to do it at this point.
You just can't call your boss's boss forgot, and it's not appropriate. You're not gonna keep your job. As soon as that got leaked, as soon as the second round of emails got leaked, I didn't even see them. I got warned in a group text. I asked them what was going on, and they told me. And I was like, yeah, they're okay. That makes sense why he's resigning. The first part is inappropriate, and he shouldn't have said that. But I make fun of people's appearances all the time, and it's not racial or anything. I don't know his thoughts behind it. But I've made fun of.
But he has a history of emails now.
Exactly. That's why I said the second part, you got to go. But the first part, I was like, I called Al Davis Jr. pumpkin pie haircutted freak all the time.
Well, he's a freak. He is. I mean, that haircut alone. I mean, come on, that is a that is.
You're a billionaire and you have that haircut.
Right. Look at Brian's haircut. He gets that for like $40, and that thing's nicer than Mark Davis right there. Our guy at Savage was like, "Oh, he's gone." When
are you trying to call my haircut Mark Davis's?
No. I'm saying you're just.
No, he was giving you credit.
I'm giving you credit, Brian. I would never compare your hair. Your haircut is spectacular.
Hey, Brian.
One of the best.
Brian, relax.
Right?
If you compare me any way to Mark Davis, I wouldn't know what to say.
Other than the wall. Other than the buddy. Other than the bake. That's all that Brian would care about. Other than the buddy. Our guy at Savage said he's gone to Gruden after he kind of read that stuff more, about the women and the referees and all that stuff he posted with the New York Times. And I tweeted, it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. I think for most teams, you'd be right. Mark Davis though loves, and I capitalized, loves Gruden. I said, thus the crazy contract. Let the free fall begin. I said though. And then he retweeted basically back to me. He said, oh, now you see basically at Fatboy FadeAway, like, it's happened now, like it's gone. And, no, that's what he said. There it is at Fatboy FadeAway. John Gruden has just informed his staff that he plans to resign as the coach. And I was like, well, some franchises just can't get it together. And that's basically what the Raiders are. My brother can be here. He can sugarcoat the crap out of this franchise all he wants. But this franchise sucks. It sucks. It is terrible. It has no idea what the hell it is doing. And that is putting it nice. You know what I mean? Like that is putting it. I have a chance to rant here, and I am going to rant. It is pathetically ran. I don't care what you say. Even if Gruden's hired and you think he's good, the team sucks. They are not well ran at all. Period. That's all I have to say.
I mean, look at the owner's haircut, like we were saying. He's not a very detailed human being. I think that says it all.
It feels like he should be on. Feels like he should be on the original Dumb and Dumber movie.
They're pathetic. It's no doubt about it.
Are they worse than the Jaguars?
Yes, they're worse than the Jaguars. The Jaguars at least been to a few. Raiders have been to one AFC Championship game. Are you kidding me?
Have the Jaguars been to one? They went to one in the early days.
They gotta be better. I mean, even if they're not Tyler's Jaguars you're talking about. Are you kidding me?
I still can't believe they made it to an AFC Championship game with Blake Bortles.
Is that a championship?
Doesn't that shock you?
Yeah,
doesn't that shock you?
Yeah, come on. And they have Maurice Jones-Drew. He lost to the Patriots in the divisional round. They won in the wild card a few times. They were with Garage.
He was on the Raiders too.
I mean, we ripped on the AFC South, but they at least had like a team or two that was in there. The Raiders were never that team or two. They were always out of it. They were never that team or two. They were never into it. They were pathetic. They were just. And speaking of pathetic, Brian. Speaking of pathetic, I can't wait to get into the Niners. I want to talk about just the Kyle Shanahan. No. Hold on. The pathetic.
I'm ready to rant right now. I'm ready.
Come on, Mr. Positivity.
All right. We'll be back with Brian's take.
I'm not Mr. Positivity this time.
We'll be back with Brian on the Fatboy FadeAway Sports Podcast.
That's like why he's like one of the best defensive shortstops in the league.
And we're back here on the Fatboy FadeAway Sports Podcast. As you can tell, we're recording during the Giants-Dodgers game. What the hell happened, gentlemen? What happened? What the hell happened? Say something.
Mookie lined out to Brandon Crawford with guys on first and second or second and third.
That's why Crawford's one of the best defensive shortstops in playoff history.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Let's go,
right.
Giants.
Before we
like
got
I've
off
always
here,
said,
before we got off, Tyler, without this positivity with the damn Giants here, your Giants.
Let's get back into football.
Can we get into some negativity here with the Niners again? And Brian, hold on here before you go on your little. Hold on. Before you go on your damn little soliloquy here,
give me an apology.
Point out that you said that the Giants, that the Niners were going to be winning every damn award there was in the NFL. Now you have to take it that your team is not. How do you feel after another loss? 17-10.
You gave me all these nicknames, Mr. Negative, Mr. Pessimistic.
He had to bust out the cards hat. He had to do that.
How do you feel, Brian, after this game? 2-3. What are we feeling now in Niners Nation right now?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know where to start. Like the Shanahan play calling. I mean, I don't know how you play call that whole game the way you did. I mean, he just played it too fucking safe, dude.
Would the Niners have won if they played Jimmy Garoppolo, Brian?
No,
if he was healthy.
I'm just saying the offensive line, the way they played, he would have gotten destroyed in that game. Don't you?
I feel like you're more pissed than this. Go off. What is your issue with Niners? Like you're, the play calling with Shanahan. Like, I mean, what is the issue that you actually have? I mean, my Cardinals they're 5-0.
I'll be on. I'll go in your face, Ryan. I'll say my issue is Kyle Shanahan. I don't think he's got it, dude.
Would you fire him this week?
He's our issue.
You wouldn't fire him though. You can't.
I'm asking.
Brian.
I mean, I'm going to be honest. They're going to go another year with him, but I mean, I just don't know. Like, I think he's the issue with this team. I mean, I don't think he knows.
Last week though.
He doesn't know how to call the proper calls, dude.
Ryan, that's one of the most ludicrous things I've ever heard.
He did blow.
He's one of the best play callers. He was an offensive coordinator on one. He's not in charge of anything.
Now you're being positive.
No,
come on,
Johnson, go at him. Let's go.
I'm not. I've never ripped on Shanahan. I've always backed Shanahan. It's the quarterback. I've always backed. It's not Garoppolo. It's not. It's the defense, and the whole team is not that great. They beat the Eagles and they beat the Lions, and they had trouble beating both of them.
And I told not a good roster. This was going to be the situation. I told
you. You didn't tell me.
Yes, I did. I said they're going to be 2-2. They're going to have to decide on the quarterback.
Mateo is right. Tyler, you're going to put this on Lance. Don't put this on.
No. I'm not putting it. No. Brian. I'm not doing that. Lance is fine. Lance will be okay. He needs a little improvement, but he's the third youngest quarterback to start a game since like Alex Smith. He was a day younger than Alex Smith when he started his first game. He's very young. He's raw. He is what he is, and that's why they called so many QB runs. He's just not ready yet. Like I said before the year, they need Jimmy to get through this 1 year, like Mahomes got through 1 year of not playing, and then give him an offseason playing with his teammates, and he'll be fine. But it's way too early for Trey at this time, in my opinion. I could be wrong. He could come out and throw for 400 yards, and I'll look like an idiot. But that's just how I feel. Like
he's got a left knee injury now. What do you guys think of that?
Well, we're fucked.
If
he's not playing, and Jimmy's not playing.
What was that, Brian?
I think he needs to learn. Like, if you're going to scramble, you got to learn how to slide. You can't go head first all the time.
I heard him on the radio. He said he took one hard hit the whole day. The other ones just looked like it.
The one hard hit he was.
You're a big fat liar, Brian. There's one hit. You better look for that hit. That's what he said.
The one hard hit was a fourth down on the goal.
You were watching the Raiders game, Darren. Don't give me this. You were watching the
I'm listening on the radio on the way home out of Trey Lance's mouth.
Darren doesn't care about the Niners.
I do. Because I know you guys care. So I care. With passion, with love, with energy.
I said that, they're going to be like this spectacular.
The Super Bowl.
I didn't say that. I had Bucks, Chargers.
All right, good pick. You're still in it then. Brian's the idiot.
Stupid. Just kidding.
Oh God.
But the Niners,
I knew it was gonna come from. I knew it was gonna come from this Cards lover over here.
I've said this for a while. The two most important offensive players on that team are Mostert and Kittle, and they're both hurt. And Debo's third. And they're all Debo's doing fine. The other two are hurt.
Hey, why don't they play that other? What's the other receiver's name, Brian? Hey, what's his name?
Ayuk.
Why don't they play him much? He had a nice little catch there at the beginning of the game, and then he didn't play him after that.
Yeah, I don't know what they're doing with Ayuk right now. I mean, they could be using him more often, but they're not.
Doghouse?
He must be. I'm sick of Sanu. There's no reason for Muhammad
to sleep with his wife. I mean, my God, what are you doing? Leave it on the bench if he can help you win. Don't you think he should be in? You guys are the fans. Why isn't he in?
How do you defend Shanahan? His play calling is shit. His play calling is shit.
Last week, Tyler. A lot of runs.
It wasn't good. I ripped him for that use check 4th and 1.5 QB sneak thing. That was awful.
Lance ran the ball 16 times.
Well, maybe he can't throw the ball. Maybe he can't make a read yet.
Oh,
he's young.
But why you didn't answer me? I'm curious to know your answer.
He let him make one big play, and he threw the pick, and he played the whole game way too safe. He didn't want him to make any interceptions, so he dumbed down the whole game, dude. That's why I didn't like.
Brian, hold on. I got to get Tyler's answer on this. He's the guy I was interested. Sorry about the receiver. Ayuk. He made that nice catch at the beginning of the game. You had to think watching him. He's more explosive than the other guys you had in. Come on, you had to think that. I know.
There's no way he's better than Debo.
No. The second best guy.
Muhammad Sanu is trash. I hate Muhammad.
No, that's all I'm saying.
I'd rather see Trent Sherfield.
No, he's better than Sherfield.
I'd rather see Ayuk than Sherfield.
Why is he much
better than Sherfield? I don't know. He's doing something at practice. I don't know. I'm not at practice. Are you at practice?
No, but
what is he doing? I don't know. I'm not there. What do you mean? You're asking me questions. I'm not there to watch.
Okay, well,
he should be in as far as talent level.
Here's my theory.
But I don't know why he's not in.
Here's my theory.
Him and John Lynch banged Shanahan's wife. I don't know what they were doing.
That's kind of what I'm thinking.
This is my theory. Is Shanahan wanted Mac Jones. Lynch put his foot down and took Lance, and I just don't think Shanahan is really. I don't know. I think he should be using Lance better than he is, and I just don't think he's developing him good enough.
Lance hasn't played with the first team reps all year. He's had a half a week or a week. So I don't like, and I want to get to Darren showing off his dance. The Cardinals will barely make them. They won't win their first playoff game. I promise.
No, they're 5-0.
They're fucking trash.
No,
they're garbage. They're not winning one playoff game. Don't so be your damn Cardinals hat. Get the hell out of here with that shit.
Yeah, that's a 2000.
I had to deal with this shit all the time at my house.
You have Cliff Kingsbury as a coach. Good luck.
He would go put the Cards game on. This was like I had to deal with it all the time, man.
I would have grabbed his hat and taken a shit in the bathroom and handed it back to him.
Especially when Jeff Blake was the quarterback. That would be the key.
Can we get into good football, the Chargers?
What's that?
How spectacular is Herbert?
Go ahead.
Yeah,
Talk about it.
He's really good.
He's the second best. I still would take Mahomes first, and then after that, I'm taking Herbert to build with. I'm still taking Rodgers and Brady, but
Do we have to think?
What was that?
Do we have to thank Mahomes for giving Herbert motivation? Because during the year, somebody asked him about Herbert, and he said he wasn't sold on him. So I think we have to thank Mahomes on that.
I think Herbert has his own. Hopefully, he has self-motivation himself to be himself and play the best football he can play. He's just spectacular. I haven't seen a quarterback like him since Mahomes. He can run if he wants to. Allen's great too. There's great quarterbacks right now, but if I'm taking a quarterback to build my future with, I'd go Mahomes 1 and then Herbert before Allen, before Kyler, before Josh Allen. I just love watching Herbert play football. If you could start your franchise, would you start with Murray, Herbert, or Allen?
I would go with Allen. Allen.
For what reason?
Just because the guy's got like a gun on him, and he's mobile. He can do everything, dude.
Do you not think Herbert can do everything? I mean, I feel Allen's great. I'm not going to hate on Allen.
Yeah, but you kind of hate on him a little bit. It feels like.
No, I don't.
But you can't. No.
I mean, I've seen an Allen in playoff games make bonehead plays where
you kind of hate on. You kind of hated on Murray a little bit today with that text message. I felt like, or with the Twitter.
Yeah, I'm not taking a 5'10" quarterback who just hurt.
So you don't like him. So he's not a top.
I mean, I like him, but he's third to me.
I voted for Allen. I thought he was the best. I mean, with Brian, he's mobile. I mean, you saw last night he has a gun.
Did you see Herbert running the ball in for a touchdown?
Yeah, I like him too. That's a tough list for you to put up right there. So yeah, it's gonna be a tough 1, 2, 3. That's the guy I'm taking. I'm taking Allen. You're taking the luscious locks.
Who would you say is the biggest surprise team so far?
For me, it'd be the Bengals. Even though they lost this week, they look like they can play with anybody. Their defense looks fast. Their offense looks fast. Lamar Chase is all that negative talk about him in the preseason looks like, what were you talking about? It got me off of them, hearing all the stories and reading all the articles. I was like, I'm not drafting him in fantasy. And I was high on him before that. I thought he was the best receiver coming out 2 years ago. And then the ball is striped and stuff. I don't know. It got me off him. But he just looks like a spectacular player.
What about you, Darren?
I don't know. I just think Murray is. I think he's the most electric out of all. I think he's the best.
Oh man.
Are you sleeping? What was going on?
I think Allen is the best. I had to deal with an athletic director thing right here for a second. The editing. So
Brian, all right. Well, we'll exclude that. What was your most surprising team, Brian?
I'd say the Cowboys right now. They look really good to me.
You're right. I feel like they're top 3. Them, the Chargers, and I don't know who else. Who's your top 3?
I Dak is a really good quarterback.
Dak's better than I thought he was. That's for sure.
Yeah.
I thought he was a guy who could put up numbers when the team was behind, but he has been a beast this whole year.
Yeah.
Do you guys want to move on to a different subject, or you want to keep ripping on the Niners?
No, we can. No. I'm over the Niners.
All right, Brian. You got anything else?
Brian, am I going to get I'm sorry though for being so negative, for calling you so negative.
I'm sorry, Tyler. I should have been more like realistic with the Niners, and I was being a homer.
That was enough. Thank you, Brian. All right.
So why don't we take a quick little break? We'll be back with the rest of week 5 and some of the matchups that we've found intriguing. Maybe some of the things we're looking
week
forward
6.
to. All right, welcome back. Last part of the Fatboy FadeAway Sports After Hours. Tyler, I know you're locked in on the Giants, Dodgers, so we'll get this bad boy over with quickly. What's the score? Update us.
1-0, top of the ninth.
All right, so you're into it. I get
The
it.
good
We'll get
guys.
it. All right, week 5. Bills had to impress, right? Chargers had to impress. Any other team I'm forgetting about?
The Ravens.
Packers?
Yeah, that's good.
Packers looked all right, but they won.
Steelers back at it, 2-3. My Super Bowl pick. Are they back at it, Brian? No. Anybody else, Brian?
They played an overrated Broncos team. I didn't think the Broncos were going anywhere. So
that Chargers Browns game though was pretty fun though.
Oh, yeah, it was spectacular.
Especially for fantasy reasons. I had Chubb and Hunt.
Well, I had Mike Williams and Eckler. I was feasting.
Yeah, you're having a good day like me as well. Anything else in week 5 we should be talking about? I forget. Anything else? Brian?
I think
the Cowboys, Trayvon Diggs looks like the best corner in the NFL.
That's true.
Yeah.
Brian, anything else?
I think some of the teams that started hot and were kind of overachievers are coming back to the field, like the Panthers and the Broncos and other teams like that. It seems like the teams that are, good and going to be good this year, they're rising to the top right now.
Always bet the over, I'm realizing. That's the key.
Let's be real. The 49ers and Raiders have come back.
Always bet. Yeah, there's a lot of teams that are always going to come back in the football. It's football. Nobody goes unreal.
Or the Panthers.
Yeah, but it is football. Teams do that.
Well,
like
those are the
rarities.
Those are the rarities.
But there's always one team.
Okay, well, who's it going to be this year? I mean, come on, you're talking all confident.
The Chargers.
They're going to go 14-2 or something, 14-3.
No one said 14-2.
That's the type of season we're talking about. Like
we were. I didn't know. Okay,
well, I have a rarity. You said a rarity. So what? I mean, kind of like the Chargers that went 14-2 that lost to the Patriots. That's a rarity season. You went 14-2. I mean, if you go 12-6, that's a regular season, or 12-5, like, or 12. You know what I mean? Those are regular seasons. Those aren't. That's not nothing special. And Brian.
If you don't win the Super Bowl, it's nothing special.
Me and Brian come from the good old 80s.
I was born in the 80s too, buddy.
God damn it.
I miss the days of Jack Tatum when you could just lay somebody out and just.
Brian, you weren't even alive to remember.
I gotta be honest, Brian. I sent my dad this old 20-minute YouTube video of the Raiders, YouTube of like Bill King first starting as the Raiders announcer, and he's like, "I love this. This is awesome." And Jack Tatum did a lot of it. All right, I looked at week 6. I got to be honest. I looked at it ahead of time. It's pretty bleak. It's not looking that good for matchups this week. This might be a one.
Chargers, Ravens.
And this might be one you want to take a week off. Maybe go do something with the family. Maybe might be a good church week. This might be something you want to do. Like this might be that week. Like you got Dolphins, Jaguars, Packers, Bears.
Yeah.
Bengals, Lions, Texans, Colts. Texans, Colts.
Anything with the Texans is that.
Wow. Rams, Giants. Rams, Giants.
Yeah, yuck. I mean, Kadarius Toney's interesting if he's not suspended.
So you might watch that one. All right. So
no, I'm not. I'll be hoping for red zone visits.
Chiefs, Washington.
Nope.
Oh my God.
Vikings, Panthers.
No.
Wow.
Chargers, Ravens. That's
yes.
all we get. That's all we get. All right, here's and then now that's all the morning games. Horrible, Johnson.
This has to be the worst Sunday night game of the year, dude.
Hold on.
Yeah, why is it not getting flexed out? You can flex that game out. Why
we're not flexing it anything yet. We're not done yet, gentlemen. Follow the script. I'm just kidding. All right.
Suck my white ass ball.
Then we got the 1 o'clock game to Johnson. Then we finally kind of wake up. The NFL's like, all right, we got 3 games we're going to throw at you. We got Cardinals, Browns, obviously.
That's good.
Obviously, a fantastic game.
Get that fucking hat out of the fucking
screen. And then we got Rick Barcioni and the Raiders versus the Broncos.
That's not bad. I mean,
that's just good. Yeah, it's not bad.
As a
it's not bad because the Raiders are a train wreck. That's why it's not bad. They're going to Denver. All right, I guess.
What's the lady's name in trade wreck? The blonde
to be honest, I'm gonna bet the Raiders.
LeBron James was in trade wreck.
True. I'm gonna bet the Raiders because I'm just gonna assuming they're gonna be a huge underdog, so I'm just gonna take whatever their points are. And then supposedly the game of the day for Adam Darwish.
Patriots.
Yes.
Who are they playing?
On that note, trick or treat.
Is he here?
It's the Patriots versus the Cowboys, 1:25 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Is that the game of the day?
I hope Dak beats the crap out of the noodle arm.
Brian, as a Niner fan, that makes me sick. I'll still root for the Patriots because I fucking hate the Cowboys. I'll never root for the Cowboys. I thought you said trick or treat and Adam was going to show up in the fourth screen. I was going to get so excited.
That would have been too good. He said he couldn't. He said Adam just texted me saying he doesn't have.
His alopecia.
That seems like a move Darren would do. He's kind of the.
It is a little sly under the table, provoking everybody.
So Brian, you mentioned the Sunday night game, Seahawks Steelers. That would have been a good game if Wilson was there, though. You said it's not a good game, but that's because now you think the Steelers apparently going to blow them out.
No,
I don't believe that.
That's not going to happen at all. Are you kidding me? The Steelers are now one game.
Even if Russell Wilson was there, it would still be a shitty game.
Why?
Because then Seattle would blow out Pittsburgh. I mean,
Pittsburgh's just not interesting. They're one of the boringest teams in football. Ben Roethlisberger's got to go.
And now Juju's out for like a month, I hear.
I mean, Juju's wide receiver 3 on Pittsburgh. He's not even like a guy anymore. He went from like wide receiver 1 of the whole league and like in franchise like fantasy leagues to being not even someone who's important at all. Really, like he could go to anything and it wouldn't change anything.
That was probably my number one interesting off season was like he became a free agent and nobody wanted to give him money. I thought that was crazy.
Michigan State, right?
Yeah. Juju?
Yeah.
No, we went to USC.
USC, okay. Who's the guy from Michigan State that came out recently?
As a receiver?
Yeah.
James Conner?
That's
or John Connor? I don't know. There's no receiver who's come out recently.
All right. And then, Brian, let's get to the Monday night game. Bills-Titans. That's at least a decent game.
That's a great game. Or not great, but good.
That's the game of the week. Let's. If the Seahawks had Wilson, Brian, you shut.
But they don't. We're not doing what ifs.
Okay, we're not playing that game.
All right, we're not doing that what if. So the games, there were only 3 good games then. Bills-Titans Monday night. At least we get it after hours, after the podcast, with a Tennessee bias podcast here on Fatboy FadeAway Sports Podcast. I'm looking forward to it.
Now on your part, bias.
Well, I don't know. We got to get somebody from Tennessee on here. So we got that game. We got that game.
I think we should get Matt on because he has Josh Allen in our fantasy league.
That's fine. I like it. I wanted Adam to come on. I want somebody with passion, love, energy, desire, feel for the game. Anything.
Who has more passion than Luntlemania? Why is he not?
I have invited him. I invited him to come on tonight too. I want Matt on this podcast. Matt, you need to get on.
I got little Bailey on.
But Brian said he didn't even watch our last podcast.
I know. Brian's going to get fired if he keeps that effort up.
Oh, come on.
All right, so Brian.
Darren was talking about your sister last podcast. Just kidding. I'm just kidding. Complete joke. Complete joke. That was over the line. I'm sorry.
I'm making the cookies.
Just
Deborah, I'm
remember
making the cookies.
her husband lives in Petaluma, and he could come for you.
Deborah, I'm making the cookies. All right, so I got 3 games. Chargers, Ravens. That's it in the morning.
That's the best game of the week.
No. Titans, Bills to me is the best game. Because it's at Titans. And I feel like it's a big game for the Titans. That's why.
I just don't think the Titans are that good. They beat not very good teams.
Never making me feel like it's a big game. Like they're just. I mean, how can you say that bullcrap? Like, it's you.
Big games all the time.
Big Ten football. I want to watch the Ravens just play.
That Julio Jones trade hasn't worked out for the Titans. I mean, let's just be honest right now.
Hey, Darren, read back Lamar Jackson's football line today.
It was
that Big Ten football?
It was not Big Ten football. I agree, but that's not the game. But the score was earlier in the game until the very end, and that's what I didn't want to. They scored 20 points.
All that matters is the end of the game.
Very true.
All that matters,
I'll give it to you. But the Titans Bills to me is a bigger game in terms of kind of a bigger set to the tone of the AFC. If the Titans win that game, and now both teams are 4-2, you're like, all right, well, the Titans might be one of the best teams in the AFC now.
You're talking about the Titans like they're not Big Ten football. They're the heart of Big Ten football, how they
play. I agree with that, but I'm saying
I want to call out Adam right now. I'm going to point my finger at him. I'll say you beat the Texans by 3. You beat the Texans by 3. Mac Jones is overrated, and the Patriots aren't that good. I'm calling you out, Adam. The Patriots don't have anything.
Hey, what time are we at on this podcast? I need to clip this to send it to Adam. I'm clipping this. That's for Adam.
Ryan, that's why I love you on this podcast. That's beautiful. Man.
You're like Stone Cold Steve Austin just having to shoot all by yourself.
Tyler's hugging his damn dog over there.
No, my dog is chilling. He's cool.
All right, well, those are the games of the week for me. I don't see anything better than that.
It is a pretty bad week.
Raiders, Broncos. I mean, it's a pathetic week. All right, well, at least we'll have something to talk Monday night at all. Brian, if the Niners lose this week, hey, you know what? They won't.
Hey, guess what? I gotta go. I gotta go. Duck the Fodgers. Go Giants. I gotta go. Peace.
If Darren was right here, I'd slap him.
I love you all.